In a small, peaceful Ohio town, darkness struck without warning. 3 lives were stolen in one horrifying night, and a community was left reeling. What unfolded next would uncover betrayal, greed, and the unthinkable actions of a man who was trusted by his victims. This is the story of James Rinehart Jr., a name forever etched into the history of Ross County. The crime unfolds, investigating the tragedy. It all began on February 4th, 2019, when a chilling 911 call from a terrified relative on VGO Road in Libertytown, Ohio, notified police of a horrific discovery. The caller reported her niece and her partner, both, had been brutally attacked. The serene stillness of Ross County, Ohio, was shattered when authorities discovered a gruesome scene. The horrific scene unfolded at Rick Adams' home, where he had been shot twice, with one of the wounds fatal to his head. Nearby, Tammy Potts Williams, 51, lay in a pool of blood, her throat slashed and body bruised. She barely survived and later recounted the terror she experienced. Officers were horrified by the calculated, deliberate nature of the attack. As investigators approached the house, neighbors issued grim warnings, cautioning them about the potential dangers that might lie within. Officers found the residence empty and quickly transported the injured Tammy and Rick to the hospital. The investigation focused on identifying the attacker and gathering evidence. Detectives learned the couple lived together, but neighbors had no leads. Rick's friend, who discovered the scene while picking up pop cans, contacted emergency services before Tammy's aunt. The investigation took a turn when a silver Honda, with bloodstains not belonging to the victims, was found near the scene. As officers pursued this lead, they received another frantic call, revealing a much darker and more complex plot than anticipated. The call came from Bowman Lane in Londonderry, Ohio at 6:59 p.m., just 5 miles from the original crime scene. The caller, 18-year-old Lauren Potts, was urgently concerned for her mother's safety, stating that she had found a body in their home. Upon arriving at the residence, officers immediately began their investigation. Their search quickly uncovered evidence of horrific crime. The officers found the body of a male victim in the kitchen, brutally beaten and covered with gunshot wounds. As the investigation progressed, a horrifying revelation emerged. A further search of the house led to the discovery of a female victim's body. The woman, partially undressed, tied with zip ties, and shot, was found with a pillow used to muffle the gunshots. Evidence, including zip ties and a .32 caliber shell casing, was found in the kitchen, and blood splattered throughout the scene. The victims were identified as Leanne Potts, 46, and Tom Littler, 63, recently married. Leanne's car was at the scene, and it was soon revealed that Rick Adams, the earlier male victim, was her brother. As the investigation deepened, detectives turned to Leanne's daughter Lauren, unaware of a shocking connection. When questioned about the possible motive behind the murders, Lauren revealed a chilling detail that left the officers stunned. Lauren revealed that her mother had recently received a large settlement and Tom was financially secure, which suggested a possible robbery motive. However, this didn't explain the attacks on Rick and Tammy, who lived far from Leanne and Tom. As the investigation advanced, unsettling questions arose, suggesting a disturbing pattern of family members being deliberately targeted. The series of attacks on 2 couples from the same household left the remaining family members shaken, questioning whether they were the intended targets or if the attacker had a darker, more sinister motive. Despite the chilling discoveries, nothing could have prepared the investigators for the horrifying truth that was about to emerge. While the perpetrator's identity remained a mystery, the detectives were certain of his motive. As a precaution, security for the hospitalized victims was heightened, and the manhunt for the brutal attacker escalated. Initially, officers suspected robbery to be the motive, fearing more attacks could follow. However, a critical call would soon challenge their assumptions. James Rinehart, a 39-year-old friend of Rick, contacted authorities claiming to have crucial information that could unravel the mystery of the assaults. Rinehart insisted he knew the identity of the person responsible for the attacks on Rick and Tammy. James claimed that 48-year-old Larry Potts Tammy's brother and Leanne's ex-husband, was behind the attacks. This startling revelation stunned investigators, who had initially believed the motive was robbery. It now seemed that the killer's reasons were far more sinister than just financial gain. Following this lead, investigators turned their focus to Larry Potts, their main suspect. However, upon arriving at his residence, his roommate informed them that Larry was not at home. Just as this lead appeared to fade, a new breakthrough emerged. The next day, Tammy regained consciousness, though still in critical condition. Unable to speak, her injuries were a chilling testament to the brutality she had endured: 80 stab wounds to her upper body and severe bruising that discolored her face. Despite her fragile state, officers did everything they could to gather any information she could provide. Despite their efforts, officers couldn't gather any information from the traumatized Tammy, and further questioning was halted. With Tammy unable to provide details and Larry still missing, the investigation continued. A meticulous search of the crime scene areas eventually led to a critical breakthrough, a key piece of evidence that could identify the killer. When detectives learned about a surveillance camera in the neighborhood, they interviewed the neighbors in hopes of uncovering valuable information. To their surprise, the neighbors shared startling details, having witnessed events that could potentially alter the course of the investigation. CCTV footage showed an unidentified car chasing Rick's vehicle. The vehicle had its hood raised, suggesting a possible mechanical malfunction. It appeared Rick was attempting to escape the pursuit. However, this promising lead ultimately proved fruitless, leaving investigators at another dead end. The suspect in custody. A new lead emerged when officers were tipped off that Larry had returned home. They swiftly headed to his residence, resolved not to let him escape again. Larry was arrested on outstanding warrants for unrelated charges. Throughout the process, he displayed an eerie calm and composure, which was unlike anything the officers had experienced before. Larry's arrest marked a turning point in the investigation. Bloodied knives found in his vehicle provided crucial evidence, making him the prime suspect and bringing detectives closer to uncovering the truth behind the murders. After his arrest, Larry was promptly taken in for questioning. When the detective began asking him about his marriage to Leanne Potts, Larry's response left the officers utterly perplexed. During the interrogation, Larry spoke of his marriage to Leanne with a quivering voice, his eyes filling with tears. When asked about the attack and his sister's condition, he responded thoughtfully, showing sincere concern for her well-being, portraying himself as a grieving brother. Larry strongly denied any involvement in the attacks. However, when asked about the car seen in the CCTV footage, his response shocked the officers. He claimed that the car belonged to someone who was familiar with the victims. James Rinehart, the car owner seen in the CCTV footage, had initially raised suspicions about Larry, complicating the investigation. Despite claiming innocence, the blood-stained knives found in Larry's car led to his arrest. Meanwhile, mushroom foragers discovered Leanne's handbag on a nearby hill, and its contents added a perplexing twist to the case. Accompanied by the individuals who found the handbag, officers conducted a thorough search of the wooded area, uncovering a knife nearby. This key piece of evidence was promptly sent for DNA testing. Capturing the real killer, the interrogation deepens. As the investigation continued, a new lead emerged. A tip from a Burger King employee revealed someone trying to use Leanne's credit card. The officers acted quickly, apprehending the suspect, a discovery that shocked them. The discovery was James Rinehart Jr. He tried using Leanne's card at a drive-thru the day after the murders. The cashier, recognizing the name, alerted the police. Officers arrested him, finding Leanne's credit cards, receipts, and over $1,100 in cash. Despite this damning evidence, when questioned about his arrest, the suspect gave a perplexing response, pretending to have no knowledge of the situation. As James was escorted to the van, officers discovered the car seen pursuing Rick on CCTV nearby. Evidence of James using Leanne's card and finding her handbag near his home deepened the investigation. His criminal record, including a 2016 conviction for theft and vandalism, raised more suspicion. During interrogation, James nervously claimed the cards belonged to his girlfriend, revealing a key clue. Despite James having claimed the cards belonged to his girlfriend, the officers remained highly suspicious of his involvement in the killings. When questioned about Leanne's death, James had provided an unusually evasive response. James admitted to knowing about the attack on Rick and Tammy, but denied any knowledge of the murders of Leanne and Tom. To defend his innocence, he even claimed he had contacted the police because he was unaware of the latter killings. Throughout the interrogation, James was unresponsive, offering vague and elusive answers. His utter lack of remorse was unsettling. By the end of the session, the investigator had pieced together a disturbing picture of his dark intentions. The investigation uncovered crucial evidence against James. DNA tests matched his DNA with samples found on Leanne's body and the zip ties used to restrain her. Furthermore, CCTV footage showed him purchasing similar zip ties at a nearby gas station. The legal battle. James Rinehart Jr. was charged with 3 counts of capital murder and 16 other felonies, including aggravated murder, kidnapping, and rape. In September 2019, he pleaded guilty to 3 counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of attempted murder, leading to the withdrawal of the remaining charges. On September 30th, 2019, Rinehart was sentenced to 35 years to life in prison and ordered to pay restitution, including $122 for funeral costs and $5,936.75 for unauthorized charges on Leanne's credit card. Now 44, he is incarcerated at the London Correctional Institution in Union Township, Madison County, with a parole hearing set for September 2054. Though Rinehart never confessed to his motive, authorities believe money may have been a key factor in the killings. Larry faces arrest and detention. Although initially suspected, Leanne's ex-husband, Larry Potts, was not involved in the murders. However, he was arrested by the Vinton County Sheriff's Office on charges of child assault and drug possession after drugs and a crystal substance were found in his vehicle. During his 2016 divorce from Leanne, allegations of domestic violence and child abuse led to her gaining full custody of their children. The devastation left behind. Leanne's daughters continue to mourn the loss of their mother, uncle, and stepfather. Alexis Potts, Leanne's daughter, expressed that she finds comfort in the belief that she can still feel a connection with her mother through angelic energy. Leanne's other daughter, Lauren, reflects on the deep loss of her mother and its impact on her granddaughter, who frequently asks about her grandmother. Lauren hopes her mother's legacy will be remembered for her strength and resilience. Rinehart's actions had a devastating impact. Leanne Potts, a devoted mother, left her daughters without guidance. Thomas Littler, a beloved stepfather, and Rick Adams, a caring brother, were taken too soon. These lives, filled with promise, became statistics in a brutal crime. After 51 days in Ohio Health Grant Medical Center, Tammy fully recovered but still struggles to grasp the horror she endured while mourning the loss of her loved ones. The officers working on the case regarded it as one of the most demanding of their careers. Despite the obstacles they faced, they were unwavering in their dedication to ensuring justice for the victims' families. This case is a chilling reminder of how greed can breed evil, exploiting trust and altering lives. While his actions haunt those who knew him, the victims' families remain steadfast, fighting to ensure his crimes are never forgotten. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.